What if I told you your daily breakfast could be quietly raising your blood pressure without you even realizing it? For many of us, breakfast is a rushed routine, a cup of coffee, maybe a sugary pastry, or sometimes nothing at all. But according to Harvard Medical School, these common habits might be doing more harm than good, especially to your heart. In fact, a long-term Harvard study found that men who regularly skipped breakfast had a 27% higher risk of heart attack or death from coronary heart disease. That's not just a minor detail. That's a wake-up call. High blood pressure, often called the silent killer, affects nearly half of all adults in the U.S. It usually comes with no obvious symptoms until something serious happens: a stroke, a heart attack, kidney damage. And while we tend to blame genetics, stress, or aging, research now shows that what you eat in the first hour of your day could be playing a much bigger role than you think. This isn't just about what's on your plate, it's about what your body needs to keep your blood vessels relaxed, your heart beating steadily, and your metabolism functioning efficiently. And believe it or not, some of the most popular breakfast choices, yes, even the ones advertised as healthy, could be pushing your blood pressure higher every single morning. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 surprisingly common breakfast mistakes revealed by Harvard Medical School and other health experts that can silently sabotage your blood pressure. Some of these might seem harmless or even healthy at first glance. But once you understand how they affect your body, especially over time, you may never look at breakfast the same way again. And if you're over 40 or already dealing with high blood pressure, this information could be life-changing. Because breakfast isn't just the most important meal of the day, it could also be your first defense against one of the most dangerous and misunderstood health conditions in the world. So let's take a closer look, starting with the one breakfast habit that most people think is harmless, but actually increases your risk of heart disease: skipping breakfast entirely. 1. Skipping breakfast. Let's start with a habit that's become almost fashionable: skipping breakfast. Whether it's due to a busy schedule, a desire to lose weight, or just not feeling hungry in the morning, millions of people are walking out the door without eating a thing. But what does that really do to your body? Harvard researchers conducted a 16-year study involving nearly 27,000 men. What they found was eye-opening: men who regularly skipped breakfast were 27% more likely to suffer a heart attack or die from coronary heart disease compared to those who ate in the morning. The researchers pointed out that skipping breakfast may lead to dangerous changes in blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and insulin sensitivity. Why does this happen? When you skip breakfast, your body is forced to continue running on empty after an overnight fast. In response, it activates stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, designed to keep you alert and energized in emergencies. But when these hormones stay elevated too long, they cause blood vessels to constrict, heart rate to increase, and blood pressure to rise. Over time, that repeated pressure takes a toll on your heart and arteries. On top of that, skipping breakfast can disrupt your metabolism. It increases the chances that you'll overeat later in the day, especially on high-sodium, high-fat foods that are known to raise blood pressure. And for people with prediabetes or insulin resistance, it can cause larger spikes in blood sugar when they finally do eat, adding another layer of cardiovascular strain. One important thing to note: the danger isn't just skipping breakfast once in a while, it's the chronic pattern. When breakfast is regularly absent from your routine, your body stays in a state of metabolic confusion. It doesn't know when fuel is coming next. So it starts conserving energy and holding on to fat, making it even harder to manage weight and blood pressure. Some might argue that intermittent fasting has health benefits, and yes, it can, under certain conditions. But skipping breakfast as a lifestyle, without structure or nutritional strategy, is not the same as guided fasting. In fact, many studies show that people who eat a balanced breakfast have lower blood pressure, more stable blood sugar, and better overall cardiovascular health. So, if you've been skipping breakfast in hopes of losing weight or saving time, it might be time to rethink that habit. Even something simple, a bowl of oatmeal, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, or a handful of nuts and fruit can help stabilize your blood pressure and set a healthier tone for the rest of your day. Because, when it comes to your heart, skipping the first meal of the day isn't saving time. It might be shaving years off your life. 2. Consuming high-sodium processed foods. Now, let's talk about a breakfast habit that's hiding in plain sight: processed, salty foods. Think bacon, sausage, deli meat, breakfast sandwiches, or even certain frozen breakfast burritos. They might taste great and seem convenient, but they're often loaded with sodium, one of the biggest culprits behind high blood pressure. Here's what's happening inside your body. Sodium causes your body to retain water. That extra fluid increases the volume of your blood, which puts added pressure on your arteries. It's like trying to force more water through a hose that wasn't built for the pressure. Over time, this constant strain makes the artery walls less flexible and damages the delicate lining inside. That's where high blood pressure begins, and it can snowball into serious heart problems if left unchecked. Many people don't realize how much sodium is in their breakfast. A single serving of bacon can contain 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium. A fast food breakfast sandwich, often over 100-200 milligrams. That's already more than half of what someone with high blood pressure should consume in an entire day, and it's just breakfast. According to Harvard Health Publishing, even foods that don't taste very salty, like certain breakfast cereals or flavored oatmeal packets, can be surprisingly high in sodium due to preservatives and flavor enhancers. And it's not just what you eat, it's what you pair it with. Add cheese, ketchup, or certain breads, and you're stacking even more sodium onto your plate without realizing it. Let's look at a real example. The classic Egg McMuffin. It might seem modest, but it contains about 760 milligrams of sodium. Pair it with a hash brown and coffee with sweetened creamer, and your sodium count quickly climbs past 100-200 milligrams before 9 a.m. For someone with high blood pressure, the recommended daily intake is around 100-500 milligrams. You've already used up almost your entire daily budget, and you haven't even had lunch. The good news is, lowering sodium doesn't mean sacrificing flavor. There are plenty of delicious, heart-friendly breakfast options. Try scrambled eggs with spinach and tomato, avocado on whole grain toast, or unsweetened Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of chia seeds. These meals are naturally low in sodium and rich in potassium, which actually helps relax blood vessels and counteracts the effects of salt. The bottom line: processed breakfast foods might be easy, but the pressure they put on your heart isn't worth the convenience. When you start your day with real, whole foods, you're not just feeding your body, you're protecting it. 3. Opting for sugary breakfasts. Now let's look at the other side of the spectrum: sugar. You might think skipping salty foods is enough, but sugary breakfasts can be just as dangerous for your blood pressure. And the tricky part: many of these sugar-laden options are disguised as healthy. Take a walk down the cereal aisle. brightly colored boxes promise energy, whole grains, and added vitamins. But turn them around and you'll often find 10, 15, or even 20 grams of added sugar per serving. That's equivalent to 5 teaspoons of sugar before your day has even started. And it's not just cereal. Sweetened yogurts, muffins, granola bars, even fruit smoothies from some cafes can all pack a serious sugar punch. The problem: that sugar doesn't just give you a short burst of energy, it also causes a spike in your blood glucose levels. And when that spike drops, your body responds with hunger, fatigue, and sometimes cravings for even more sugar or carbs. But what does sugar have to do with blood pressure? More than most people realize. Excess sugar in the bloodstream leads to inflammation, insulin resistance, and weight gain. 3 key factors that drive high blood pressure. Studies have shown that people who consume diets high in added sugar, especially fructose, have significantly higher systolic and diastolic blood pressure levels. In fact, a study published in the journal Open Heart argued that added sugars may be more strongly and directly associated with hypertension than sodium. Even more concerning, sugary breakfasts can lead to what's known as metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that includes high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess belly fat, and abnormal cholesterol levels. This syndrome dramatically increases your risk of heart disease and stroke. There's also a psychological side to this. When your day begins with sugar, it sets the tone for your taste preferences and cravings. You're more likely to reach for sweet snacks, desserts, and processed foods later on, creating a cycle that's hard to break and even harder on your cardiovascular system. But here's the good news. The solution isn't complicated. Swap the sugary cereal for a bowl of unsweetened oatmeal with cinnamon and banana. Replace flavored yogurt with plain Greek yogurt and fresh fruit. Choose whole fruit smoothies made at home, no added sugars. Just the natural sweetness of berries and bananas. When you choose a breakfast that stabilizes your blood sugar instead of spiking it, your body has the energy it needs. Your hunger stays in check, and your blood pressure is more likely to remain in a healthy range. It's not about giving up sweet flavors entirely. It's about getting them from the right sources. Because starting your day with sugar might feel satisfying in the moment, but your heart will pay the price for it later. 4. Relying solely on coffee. For many people, coffee isn't just part of breakfast, it is breakfast. A quick cup on the go, maybe 2, and off to start the day. But relying solely on coffee in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, can be a major mistake when it comes to your blood pressure. Let's start with the basics. Coffee contains caffeine, a natural stimulant that temporarily raises your heart rate and constricts blood vessels. This leads to a short-term spike in blood pressure, even in people who don't have hypertension. For individuals already dealing with high blood pressure, that spike can be more pronounced and potentially dangerous, especially first thing in the morning when cortisol levels are already naturally high. But the problem isn't just the caffeine. It's what happens when coffee becomes a substitute for food. When you drink coffee without eating anything, your body runs on caffeine and adrenaline. That may feel energizing at first, but it can quickly lead to jitters, anxiety, digestive discomfort, and a crash in energy a few hours later. More importantly, it starves your body of the essential nutrients it needs to stabilize blood pressure, like potassium, magnesium, healthy fats, and fiber. In fact, skipping solid food in the morning has been linked to increased hunger and overeating later in the day. That often leads to poor food choices, usually something high in sodium, fat, or sugar, which creates a roller coaster of blood pressure fluctuations throughout the day. Then, there's what gets added to the coffee. Flavored creamers, syrups, and sugar can turn a simple cup into a blood pressure bomb. Just 1 pump of vanilla syrup or tablespoon of flavored creamer can add several grams of sugar and unhealthy fats right back to the sugary breakfast issue we just discussed. Now, to be clear, coffee itself isn't the villain here. In moderation, it can even have health benefits, but it should be part of a balanced morning meal, not a replacement for one. The best approach. If you love your morning coffee, keep it but pair it with something that supports your heart health. A slice of whole grain toast with nut butter, a small bowl of fruit and nuts, or a protein-rich egg dish can turn your caffeine ritual into a nourishing routine. You'll still get the comfort and alertness from your brew, but you'll also give your body the nutrients it needs to maintain stable energy and healthy blood pressure. Because coffee might wake you up, but it takes real food to keep you going. 5. Choosing refined carbohydrates. Now let's talk about something many of us reach for without a second thought. Refined carbohydrates. Think white toast, bagels, pancakes made with white flour, or even those soft, sweet breakfast pastries. They might look innocent, even comforting. But the way they affect your body, especially your blood pressure, is anything but harmless. Refined carbs are stripped of their natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left behind is a quick-burning starch that digests rapidly and turns into sugar in your bloodstream almost instantly. This causes a sudden spike in blood glucose, followed by a sharp crash, not unlike the effects of a sugary breakfast. But here's the part most people miss: that blood sugar spike also stimulates the release of insulin, which in high amounts can contribute to increased sodium retention by the kidneys. More sodium means more water retention, more blood volume, and higher blood pressure. It's a chain reaction that starts with that innocent-looking bagel. Over time, a breakfast diet heavy in refined carbs can increase your risk of metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who consumed more refined grains had a significantly higher risk of high blood pressure compared to those who focused on whole grains. Refined carbs also lack the fiber that helps slow digestion and keep you full. That means you're more likely to feel hungry again soon. Reach for a snack and repeat the cycle, creating a pattern of blood sugar and pressure spikes that can damage your cardiovascular system over the years. So, what's the better option? Whole grains. Foods like steel-cut oats, quinoa, whole grain bread, and even barley offer complex carbohydrates that digest slowly, release sugar gradually, and provide fiber to help manage both hunger and blood pressure. These foods also tend to be rich in magnesium and potassium, two nutrients that actively help relax blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. If you're someone who loves toast or cereal in the morning, the good news is you don't have to give them up. Just make the switch from white to whole grain. Choose breads with visible grains and seeds, cereals with high fiber content and no added sugars, or make your own breakfast bowls with ingredients you can trust. Because when you fuel your morning with refined carbs, you're feeding your taste buds but starving your heart. And your heart deserves better. Conclusion. So let's recap what we've learned. Your morning routine might seem small, but its impact on your heart health is anything but. Skipping breakfast, reaching for high-sodium processed foods, choosing sugary meals, relying solely on coffee, and loading up on refined carbs. These common habits can quietly raise your blood pressure day after day, year after year. But the good news: Every single one of these mistakes is fixable, and you don't have to give up taste or convenience to protect your heart. A balanced breakfast with whole grains, healthy fats, lean proteins, and fresh fruits or vegetables can not only keep your blood pressure in check, but also give you more energy, better focus, and a healthier metabolism. If you or someone you love is dealing with high blood pressure, this is a powerful place to start. Simple changes in the morning can set the tone for a healthier day and a longer, stronger life. So, tomorrow morning, before you grab that quick coffee or skip breakfast entirely, pause and ask, what does my heart need right now? Then choose foods that support it. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from it. You might just help them take the first step toward better health, one breakfast at a time.